Hello, and welcome to Commentary Tracks with David the Movie Guy. This is something new that I'm trying on this channel. I've done commentary tracks before with a good buddy of mine, but this is the first time that I will be flying solo on this channel. Just as a little experiment, I wanted to see how this would feel if I did it on my own. So this is a commentary on the last episode of Rick and Morty Season 8. All of the other episodes I have written a review for. I have not written a review for this episode for no particular reason other than the fact that I did want to try and do something different for this episode. Hence why I will be doing a commentary track on it and commenting on the episode as we watch it together. So let's go ahead and start the episode right before the Adult Swim tag in 3, 2, 1. Adult Swim. I like how the episode, cold opens like that with Rick just in a bed in post-sex with a character. It plays as if, this is supposed to be a one-night stand. We've seen Rick in other one-night stands with other characters before. But as we quickly learn, this is not that. Rick is trying to have an actual relationship with Bug-N. Or Bug-N plants the seeds of trying to start an actual relationship with Rick, and that'll get further developed as the episode continues. The cake or fake bit seems a few years late in the is it cake I don't know, what would you call it, memes trend, but it still works in the multiversal setting. We get to see Mr. Stabby again. And it's just a visual gag. It's not really explored any further than that, other than Mr. Stabby being canceled, which is fun. But we get into the real story, which involves Memory Rick, and I'm glad that the character is back. He is an incredibly interesting character. I mean, he's Rick. He's an idealized version of Rick. I mean, yeah, he's that. A memory of Rick at his most passionate and heroic. And that makes for some interesting story developments. That's a fun gag. I forgot that he was left with springs and gears tech. But of course, he's Rick, so of course he's figured out how to develop technology with just springs and gears. It's a shame that he pushed it too far. And I love the 2001 reference here. Because he both Ricks could have just allowed the fond memories of Rick to exist in his family. First in Jerry. I mean, when you think about it, what is inherently wrong with Jerry having nice memories of Rick? It doesn't sound like it's an inherently bad thing. It seems like Memory Rick takes it too far. And maybe there is some inherent value to the idea that, truth means more. What actually happened means more than what, than just simple memories or nice memories. But I don't know. What is truth? That's a deeply philosophical question that I did not expect to get into here. And he's going to work his way out because this is the same guy who got somewhere using just simple springs and gears. So, of course, he's going to find a way to break out of the 2001 room. Now, this is something that I did not expect to see in this episode. He already alluded to it during his scene with Bagan, but I had forgotten when I watched the series that Diane was erased from the multiverse. That Rick Prime, evil Rick, used the Omega device that we saw destroyed in season 7 to wipe all existences of Diane from the multiverse. Which makes sense since we never see her in any universe that Rick jumps to. That's just a detail that I had forgotten about. So Diane really only exists in Rick's memory, which is something that's never really been talked about before. So this scene reminds me a lot of Inception, in the scene where Dom keeps, these memories of Maul trapped in, because he wants to keep some sense of her alive, but in doing that, he's not really keeping her alive. What he's keeping alive is, this distorted memory version of her that's not her. So I liked the visual of seeing Rick come to grips with the fact that in order to move on, to really move on, and to start, living his life maybe the way Diane would have wanted him to, it means he has to let go of the idealized memory version of her that he has in her head. Because no one he ever comes across is ever going to live up to that memory version of her, even if it was just Diane. And I mean, this is a huge step that we've never seen Rick do before, is introduce a woman in his life to the rest of his family. And this is something that I didn't even realize at the time when I first watched this, is that we've actually seen Bagan in the series. Not in a large role, but she's there. She's in the background. She makes a few cameos in this season and in previous seasons. So Bagan is a character that Rick has, known for a while, has been coming across. So it's, I don't know, it's a fun little detail that he finally decided to do something with her. And I really liked getting to see Evil Rick again, Rick Prime. I forget what he goes by, what he's referred to as. Because when he was killed off in season 7, I thought that was it. I didn't think we were ever going to see him again. So to see, we can still see him in flashbacks or in memories, and clearly, the impact that he had on the characters in Rick's life still matters, even though he is now dead and the family can move forward. That doesn't change what he has done to them and how he, may still be having an impact on them. I like how Bagan isn't so buggy compared to everyone else. Just, I don't know. Probably just a detail Rick. Would he hook up with someone who was more buggy looking? I don't know. This is a guy who's hooked up with a planet before. But I just think it's funny. Now, I could be wrong, but the weapons they're using remind me of a Klingon weapon from Star Trek. I don't know if that was an obvious reference or not. I wish I knew the name of the weapon, but I'm pretty sure it at the very least it looks pretty similar to that weapon I'm referring to. Star Trek fans probably know what I'm talking about and are probably screaming what the thing is called at the screen right now. I think this episode reminds me a lot about Inception. Um, More so, and it's funny because there is an Inception inspired episode, I think in the first season of the show. It might be the second episode, maybe third episode. Maybe it's the second episode with the dog. With the Freddy Krueger character who says bitch a lot. But this is more Inception, even though it doesn't directly talk about ideas from Inception. It's that, Rick is inside Beth's mind and he's planting ideas in her head that, she's going to go on to believe that they're her ideas. She thinks her memories are real. Of course, I don't know if the time frame makes sense. Like, how, if Beth didn't have the memories before, how could she possibly have them now? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It works for me. I like how they don't question what that something nice could be. Like no one's just like, "Oh, like what?" Because then what could she have possibly have followed that up with? I do like this new version of Beth, seeing how active she's become. This Hannah Beth, I think I saw the subtitles referring to her as Hannah Beth. It's just fun to see her, a different side of her, even if it's negatively impacting her her worldview, her existence. And this was a nice moment. We don't really get to see a lot of Diane, so to see like them interacting with each other, it's really nice. I'm surprised it got that sexual that quickly, but it's their relationship. And beautiful visuals, obviously. And this is what I meant by saying that I like seeing this version of Beth because she's become so much of a badass. She goes toe to toe with Space Beth. Because I totally expected to see Space Beth kick regular Beth's ass. And I was fucking shocked when she killed Space Beth. I genuinely thought that was the end for Space Beth. I was, because how dramatic would that be? We had a Space Beth centric episode earlier in this season, so I thought her death in that scene was like, oh, that's why we got to see some time between Space Beth and Rick, because we were actually going to say goodbye to her later on in the season. Of course, it's not the case. She does come back, but for a brief moment, for a few minutes, it did add some, dramatic tension. It would have been interesting to see if that death had any more consequences for Beth, because, like, technically speaking, we don't know which Beth is the real Beth. So that could have been the real Beth that Hannah Beth killed, or technically this is Hannah Beth, adult Hannah Beth killed. And it would have been interesting to see if she actually died, if Rick couldn't bring her back, or if he struggled in bringing her back, would he have felt any type of way towards Beth herself? Because that's his daughter and he loves her, you know. I don't know if he loves her the most. I mean, he spends the most time with Morty. Is Morty even in this episode? Um, would it be possible for Beth to do something so unforgivable, like, killing herself, killing a version of herself, that Rick wouldn't be able to look at her the same way anymore? Especially like after a few episodes ago, he had a nice moment with the both of them as younger versions of themselves. He was finally able to tell them that he loves them, that they're his daughters no matter what. He'll always love them. For one of them to kill the other, that'd be, pretty fucking dramatic for anyone. And of course, yeah, here he finds Space Beth, but Rick being Rick, he's able to bring her back in like a few seconds. But he was worried about it, and he's relieved that he was able to bring her back. So he figured out that plot pretty quickly, but of course he's Rick. He knows everything. I missed a line earlier in the episode. I wanted to talk about it. Where Beth and Space Beth were talking. It's before he goes, I think, to erase the memory from his brain of Diane. Where where Beth was mentioning how the relationship between Rick and Bugan might be, and Space Beth was pretty nonchalant about it, like, well, he fucks, he's fucked the planet, but, it's just because he sleeps around with plenty of people, as we've seen, he has relationships with other people, doesn't mean he has a close connection to them. And this is the first time, maybe since ever, we've seen him try to have an actual connection romantically with someone ever since Diane. And that is a big deal for him, and it's a big deal for us as an audience to see, like, he's actually trying to move on. He didn't do so in the healthiest way, but he did try. Love the music here. Always love the music in the show. I like that synth wave kind of 80s pop music. It reminds me of the Battle of Blood Ridge, but not as, action heavy oriented. I like it. I download a lot, or I add the music to my Spotify playlists. They have the songs available on Spotify, and I like to add them to my playlists because I find them to be catchy. This was a good interaction. Space Beth even gets to clarify that, like, look, she doesn't want to hurt her. She doesn't want to hurt Beth. Like, she broke her neck and she still doesn't want to hurt her. It's a shame Beth doesn't get to retain some of these, some of the good memories. But I guess you gotta take the good with the bad. I haven't said a lot, but yeah, I'm really into it. This episode's really good. It's really engaging. And the message here gets a little heavy-handed, but it's really nice to see the characters have these cathartic moments. It makes them emotionally resonating. It's taken Rick a long time to get here, and we've seen him go through, you know, phases of trying to be healthy, and then he reverts back to his usual self. But it seems like his relationship to Beth has actually grown, and for the better, which is nice. And I wonder if we'll ever get to see that version of Diane. You know, maybe maybe we will. Maybe it's better that we don't. But we get little snippets of her the same way that she exists within the characters' minds. I didn't for a second believe that Memory Rick was dead. Like, we don't see a character die, he's not dead. And again, it was nice to see that version of Rick exist. And he still does exist. And will continue to exist. So even though Rick sends him off into space and wipes his own memory of doing so, there's still that possibility that we still could see him in the future. Or maybe we never will, and this is really his happy ending, where the young and hopeful, optimistic Rick gets to live happily ever after with his wife. That's all he ever wanted. It sucks that he feels that way about himself. I mean, they're not real. They're all. It's nice that he did do that for them, though. It sucks that he doesn't get to have that. Of course, the sad music, just to bring it all together. And then left on scene by Bugan. Maybe one day Rick will get to have his own happy ending. But it's not there yet. And that's it, man. That's a good season finale. It's not as like actiony as some of them have been in the past, and I don't even think it's like the most emotionally resonating, but it is a damn good one, and it does have some emotional heft behind it, and it is a lore-centric episode. So yeah, this was easily one of the best episodes of the season, one of the best episodes of Rick and Morty in a long while. And I think it does round out season 8 as being a really good season. I think probably better than season 7. I don't remember Mr. Poopy Butthole being kidnapped or being taken by his wife. So I'm not really sure what they're doing here, what they're trying to discover or uncover with his ability to break the fourth wall. But I'm glad that they've returned to the story, and that we see Mr. Poopy Butthole again, and that whatever his wife is planning, we'll be able to come back to that in the future. Whether it's a major plot or a minor plot, or not even a plot at all. But yeah, that was the last episode of Rick and Morty Season 8. I hope you had a good time watching the episode with me, watching along with me, hearing my thoughts, listening to my thoughts, listening to my rambling. But yeah, if anyone, enjoyed this, I will gladly do more commentary tracks to future episodes of the series, maybe even past episodes of the series, and go back with all the knowledge we have now and see how that affects our viewing of the previous seasons. But let me know what you thought about it. And more importantly, thanks for watching.